Hello, good people. Hello. Can I have it just make some noise? You know, I'm a vain spoken word artist, and sometimes I can't start my job until I've gotten a round of applause from somewhere. So thank you for indulging me. My name is Brandon. I am one of the events coordinators and community outreach folks here at Massy Arts Society. How many of you have never been to Massy before? Or how many of you? Okay, cool. Most of you have been here before. Well, welcome back. Massy Arts is an Indigenous-owned, Indigenous-led space prioritizing the literary and creative work of over-excluded artists. So that means generally people with, multiple intersections of oppression, racialized folks, queer folks. And so I'm excited about this event because it is, an expression of that intention of Massy's as well. I'm just going to do, I have to thank our sponsors. This event is a Massy Voices event, which means that the funding for this event is coming from the government of Canada. Yay, boo, you can feel money is good, governance, not so much, but it's all good. Every time I say that, I'm aware that I'm on camera. Okay, it's fine. And so as an Indigenous-owned, Indigenous-led space, my own feeling is that Massy Arts is a little bit of a platform for iterating and thinking through anti-colonial and decolonial practice and anti-capitalist practice. And so I will say that, you probably already know that this city, this venue, is on the unceded territory of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish peoples. And as I think about some of what that means in terms of decolonial work, this event, at least in my opinion or in my view, is about the sharing of stories and like the power of stories. And so I'm thinking about like, what is the story of this city? What is the story of this country? And how can we like replace the sort of colonial story of this place with like more justice aligned, anti-capitalist, decolonial stories. And so as poets and writers, perhaps that is part of our work, but I'll just leave it with you all to think about like what stories we're enacting as we're on this land and in this space. And with that said, I will invite our hosts for the evening, Divya and Kathy, take the space.
Hello. I'm Frankie, and use they them pronouns. My name's Divya, and I use any pronouns. And you mind if I paraphrase a joke? Yeah. To paraphrase a joke from a comedian I like, Tim Lorica. Yeah, my pronouns are any of them in case you want to talk shit after the show. Just to start out with a visual description, I am a white, fat, non-binary person wearing a floral dress and glasses. And a quick visual description of myself is that I am a small in stature, androgynous, Punjabi, non-binary woman with short black hair and like medium-ish brown skin tone, and I am wearing a denim jacket and a black leather skirt. And of course, I just want to acknowledge that we are having this event on the stolen and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We also want to think about the fact that this is an Indigenous-led space that we are gathering in. The two of us and our collective as organizers are settlers and urge other settlers to recognize the ways that we benefit from the ongoing colonial violence and resource extraction in the state of Canada in multiple facets of our lives, and continue to consider the ways we can act as allies and accomplices in the battle for justice, reparations, and land back. On that note, let's be mindful that we are taking up space in the downtown east side, which is a community home to many folks who are marginalized and or survivors of colonial violence. We ask that you please respect our unhoused neighbors, especially if you are guests in our or in the community.
Yeah, just to go over some access details for the event. We have our lovely AFL interpreters. We ask that you please do not photograph or record them. Masks are mandatory and in the space. And if you need one, you can speak to Brandon at the front desk. Or if you need a clear one, there are also clear masks back there. Some folks might choose to remove their mask when they're on the mic during their work, and you're welcome to do that. Just remove it when you get to the stage and put it back on when you go back to your seat. We also have these mic covers available. So they're right here, but we'll be putting them on before you come to the stage if you're an open mic poet or whatever. And we ask you just take them off before you leave the stage. If you forget, it's not a big deal, we'll take them off. There is a single stall washroom. There's a handrail. We have a lock. There's no button to open the door, but just let one of us know if you need help with that. And then there are stim toys at a table in the back. There's also a couple, I'm not sure if they're taken already, but there's a couple seat cushions back there as well if you will feel more comfortable that way. Staff are Narcan trained, there's Narcan on site. And I think I mentioned this at the beginning, but some folks may have come in since then. We've got strings of beads, so if you don't want to be photographed during the event, they're just at the back table there, and you can put a pair. Oh yeah, and Ivy has them too. You can just put on the beads, and we'll make sure not to photograph you or post photos anywhere. Lastly, let's do what you need to do to take care of yourself. So you're welcome to get up, move around the room, step outside if you need to, grab some toys, and yeah.
And so we have a few basic house rules just so that we can be sure that we are having, a time that is fun, but also keeping each other safe. So just going to reiterate to please not photograph or record the interpreters. Consent. Let's remember to ask for consent when we are wanting to maybe, for example, give someone a hug or talk about the work that they performed. Let's ask for permission first. Let's also remember to ask people's pronouns rather than making any assumptions. Let's please exercise kindness to our neighbors in the downtown east side. On that note, please don't be a cop. I'm sure we are all equipped with the skills of kindness and active listening and the things that it takes to handle things in a restorative way. So let's not police each other. Recognize that people have needs and give people space to do what they need to do to meet those needs. And let's also avoid any oppressive language, for example, transphobic or ableist language. Yeah, thank you for being willing to help us use this space in a way that is caring of each other.
Yeah, so just as a structure of the night, after we're done with introduction, we'll have a little over half of the open mic performers perform. There are 7 people signed up, so we'll do the first 4. Then we'll take roughly a 15-minute break, and when we'll come back, we'll have the rest of the open mic performers and our lovely features set, Nisha Patel. I'm very excited about that. And yeah, there is still time to sign up if you like. There's still spots on the open mic, so if you got in a little late and want to sign up, you can just find one of us at the register. Um. let's talk about that.
Okay, so now that some of those things are out of the way, we should probably actually like introduce ourselves as a collective. So Frankie, Divya, and then we also have Kay. You want to give a little wave? And we have Ivy. I don't know where, yeah, there you are. So a little bit about this brand new collective. Under the table is a space where the richness that is queer and disabled life and art flourishes and finds a home. It's a space to share work that's asking to be told, but might not be welcomed in other spaces if you are able to access those spaces at all. It's a space where being queer and or disabled, whether or not those specific words resonate for you, makes your work a brilliant fit, regardless of how queer or disabled you think the poetry you wish to share is, how connected you are to disabled and or queer community, and whether you feel disabled and or queer enough to participate. So I'll take a breather in case. Okay, sorry. Wanted to pace myself, being mindful of interpretation. It's a space to witness and engage with the work of incredible artists anywhere on their path of sharing their work, from the person who has never shared in front of an audience to artists who have read or performed work many times. It's a space where there's room to be scared and choose to be in community, share, and engage with others' work. It's a space where we don't claim to know all the answers, but are willing to be in the messy, nuanced space of learning together. It's a space to cry, laugh, celebrate, sit in discomfort, feel understood, and be together. This is the first of our series, so we appreciate each of you being here and helping us turn this space into whatever it becomes.
All right. So with that, all of that said, we're gonna move into the open mic portion of the event. I'll just read out the order so folks have an idea of where they'll fall in the night. So in the first half was a finalist of the ABPA Regional Book of the Year. And by the way, I did not mention this earlier, sorry, but it is for sale at the back, right? Nice. Okay, yeah, there's some copies for sale at the back if you would like to grab one. She is currently finishing her Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing at the University of British Columbia, where she is writing her first graphic novel. That's exciting. Nisha's latest works include multimodal inquiries into disabled life. She is currently working on promoting her newest chapbook, How to Get a Thigh Cap. Please welcome Nisha Patel. You lose so much peripheral vision. So I'm just trying to make sure I can see everything. Although I was listening to James Paul, but I didn't want to leave the back. Standing there. Then I had to get out anyway, so it was like a green room. This is my first time using a clear window mask, and I am a mouth reader, so I don't know how successful it's been because it's just completely fogged up, but there is an electronic version of the set. There is a link that can be sent out to anyone who would like it later as well. And so don't feel pressured to catch up everything if you want time to decompress. Oh, okay. It's so great to be here in Vancouver. I was here. It was one of the last shows I did before the lockdown. And it was a time, a different time in my life. My body since then has
failed and changed in different ways, and it's opened me up to a lot of different ways of being in the world. Many of which I'm going to talk about. A lot of this set doesn't come from kind of that spoken word, winning slam type of work that I used to do up until 2020, and it's changed. My work has changed with my body, and so I consider like putting work out in chapbooks, like all the slices of time, you know, a window into that part of someone's life. I think some of the things we feel, especially when you have a disabled body, can change over time. There can be more grief, there can be less grief, and right now I feel simultaneously a lot of grief at the parts that don't work. I feel a lot of medical grief, not being listened to, and being gaslit. But I've also come to start to feel so much joy that I can see so many broken things and love them for something that other people can't. When I learned that I'm disabled, I'm getting through 5 days of paranoid anxiety, getting through my brain not working the way it's supposed to. Did you know that disability is a social construct, that the majority define what it means to thrive, that lack is problematized as weakness, that in an accepting society, we are all a little disabled, but no one is told they are less. No one is left wanting more when my brain doesn't work in the way it's supposed to, and we're worth our weight in good days, and my good days are not worth less than your good days. That you having more good days doesn't make you more good or deserving of more days. When I Google vampires, I'm not looking for a way to live forever. I'm looking for a way to be remembered for something more than my body. If a diabetic is bitten at the neck and drained, does her dying pancreas get immortalized too? Does my heart still want to beat too fast, or will be stuck not beating for anything at all? When I Google COVID symptoms for the 60th time in 400 days, I am not looking for a way to save myself. I am looking for a way to save others from the pharmacy counters that take too long, or the insurance paperwork that asks too much, or the pills you can split in half, or the big ones you have to swallow whole. I'm looking for ways to reassure myself that there is hope. I fight the ache of my ovaries, the beast behind my breast. I say no to the birth control pill because being fat is a liability. I say yes to the IUD that cripples me for over 2 weeks, unable to move anything below my pelvis. I say no to the SSRIs that try to kill me. I say yes to the antipsychotics that try to stop me from killing me. Being disabled means I have a series of questions in an emergency room, a misplaced IV line, an x-rayed lung that proves the diagnosis wrong. And I know that knowing something is wrong is better than knowing nothing at all, living in anger or fear of sudden death. Because people like me die sometimes and no one cares. And I am lucky enough that when I die, I will notice. I will know that I did my best. And if it wasn't enough, it isn't my fault that I tried. That trying when your body fails is a gift to yourself. I'm not afraid to die. I'm afraid who I might fail to be if I live in fear of death. When I Google ways to say I love you without saying I love you, I know that going to bed and waking up is one of them. It's like super rickety. I just want to thank the organizers for meeting so many of my needs, but I just like can't risk it. I'm gonna stay there. I'm gonna go like this, like an iPad tourist. If you do take pictures, just like feel free. Why am I so sad all the time? Question. People also ask, is there a cure for feeling like everyone hates me? People also ask, is there a cure for feeling like I hate myself? People also ask, is there a cure for wanting to die just a little, like all the time, but not all the time? People also ask, does anyone else cry when taking the anti-hallucinogenics or the sleeping pills or the anticonvulsants with no side effects? Does the needle for the blood test always hurt? Am I always going to be dehydrated? Is passing out dizzy as good as falling asleep? Is it never enough to say my own name? When they call me client, I tell them it hasn't worked yet. I tell them that I'm sorry, and instead they ask me, why? Question, feeling normal and mood disorders. People also ask, did you stop taking your pills? We gave you the smallest dose, the ones for free, and we could have given them to anyone, but we saw you first, and we didn't judge, didn't tell you that your plan only covered 70% pharmaceutical benefits, capped at $750 a year, and that these cost $8 a day once the samples run out, and that you have to do things like budget and eat less and cry in front of strangers you went to high school with. Life expectancy, or bipolar disorder type 2. People also ask, it's almost like you expected to stay alive longer than we needed you to, and which we told you from the start, didn't we? At clinical services were only free for students, that if you failed or graduated, you couldn't come back here, even though you'll feel the walls of the car and the parquet want to collide so bad, even though your soundproof head will feel like it really happened. Define suicidal ideation, crisis line. People also ask, you'll daydream about it so bad that they fire you from your dream job, and you couldn't come back there even if you tried, even though there's no such thing as a continuity of care. If you're getting that many tax credits, even though the waiting list for a psychiatrist is a year long outside of your mother's health insurance, and we only prescribe lorazepam for 30 days, and you can't tell her about any of it anyway. Question, my life before this. People will remember the hospital. You were born here. Your aunt cried. Your mother lost a baby before you, shoveling snow. It's cold outside now. You've made it past the icy sidewalks so many times more than you can count. You've always loved the shade of pink, the way it seeps into itself, like hot butter on the roti. Your grandma's hands shook once as you watched her press on the vellum. Sometimes you don't know what gave her that pancreas that will be yours one day if you want it, just like your mother's serotonin receptors are yours now too. Question, hope and joy, source, your body mind. Hope and joy did not match any documents yet. So try making it up as you go. Try to remember the way your body is aware of even the things that aren't there yet. That seeing through a third eye is your birthright. Try to remember that one day you'll be in so much pain that your brain will paint an entirely new reality for you to escape from on the train, and you will close your eyes and find it is okay to live in a space between hope and joy and grief, that it will save you like you saved yourself, that you know the answers, you just haven't found them yet. Thank you. This is for everyone who rewatched all the Marvel movies during the pandemic. And since it's ongoing, still rewatching. I went to see Ant-Man 3 times. On the night Gwen Stacy dies, Peter Parker comes home without a single drop of blood on his hands, which is why he doesn't sleep or bathe or eat for days, because surviving long enough to see everyone you love leave you does that to a person. And there's nothing amazing about it, like the fact that no one sends postcards to New York. And maybe Peter Parker stays in bed too long, lets time dampen the pits of his spandex. And if he takes it off, he isn't at fault. He keeps it on. He doesn't cry until the teenage girls in the psych wards remind him through their bars that he's not the only one who needs saving, that girls like Gwen Stacy fall sometimes, and there are still more Gwens worth saving. And Peter Parker knows this, but he still wishes his heart wasn't as delicate as a spider's web, wishes it didn't catch the worst of his love and the best of his failure in a moment where a woman who was once a girl stilled in his arms, and he had to pretend he was someone they didn't call a hero, because even the hero looks like a villain. When dead girls become dead daughters, for men too afraid to fall in love without their masks on, and maybe villains get a bad rep after all. Who hasn't felt an anger so deep that it threatens both the rats in the sewers, as well as the lilacs and the pansies? If roses were all thorns, Peter Parker would buy them every day. He'd trim their leaves and weave their stems to hold up the tiny heads of buds that never bloomed, like the girl, now a ghost, like the boy, now a man. He'd snap their necks like his folly snapped hers, and this time he'd bleed a single drop of blood, and it would fall to the pavement without a sound and release him from his guilt again. The end. I'm so fidgety. I continue to lose function in my hands. So if I'm shaky, it's okay, but I am gonna just have to figure out how to distribute the weight because I'm still not really used to it. If the Incredible Hulk was disabled, he would have to fit onto the leather couch, as the doctor read out, intermittent explosive disorder, and he would refuse to accept this, both the rapid onset with no prodromal period, as well as the assumption that his behavior violated societal norms. And he would certainly need more therapy, perhaps group therapy, like I did for 10 weeks, seated next to the girl who wanted to walk into traffic. I've seen the Hulk walk into traffic without getting in trouble for it. And no one asks him if he's having a bad day. No one asks him if he's on his period, when he looks a little green or stressed out or angry. No one sends him to the psych ward against his will or straps him to a gurney like the rest of us. Because men are allowed to be angry all the time. Beastly men, men of wit and precarity. I was an episode of my father's anger. I was a flicker in the memory of my mother's wars. When I was a girl, I was angry all the time. Bitten tongues, bleeding fury into the energy of the universe, the summation of my wings, an elongated rage, until I grew into a woman who could be called high functioning, surpass my potential, dazzle the others, feign normality, which is to say that if I met them now, I would whisper, "Incredible, huh?" That's what they call me. There's 3 more poems in the set, but I'm actually just gonna do 2. I'm sorry, I should have given a content warning for a lot of this stuff. This next one is about medically assisted death. If you need to leave or tune out or be on your phone late, just go ahead. Not gonna be bothered. Made in heaven. The law no longer requires that a person's death be reasonably foreseeable to be eligible for medical assistance in dying, which means, of course, that the want of death is not an anomaly anymore, but a legally sanctioned win, which means, of course, that we will stop calling suicide a tragedy, which means, of course, how we will understand that killing yourself and letting the state kill you are discernibly different, which means, of course, that no disabled person will ever be so starved of the means of living that they too made themselves over their fulfilling and state-sanctioned lives. The teens are rewriting their Tumblr posts. The teens are playing Nirvana on repeat. The teens are making infographics. The state posts on Twitter that mental illness cannot be a sole reason for wanting to die, that there are safeguards like school counselors and university professors in place. But the teens laugh until they cry when they hear this. No lawmaker finds this legislation funny. No lawmaker has ever heard the word comorbidity. No lawmaker has ever stood barefoot on speckled tile and wondered whether swallowing the Ambien or running was worth it. No lawmaker has ever sat at a dinner table with 6 pills in hand and 2 insulin needles ready to go and thought to themselves, MAID will only ever be a last resort. To ask for MAID, I myself am fully capable of asking. I myself have everything I need. I want the option, but I will never have to choose. No one will ever coerce me. The doctor will always listen. The psychiatrist is always available. The car has an airbag and the bridges have nets and the trains don't go fast enough if I am to want my own death. It is because I have everything and I am in need no more. This is a perfect system in which my body, free of its own terminality, gives full and informed consent. We surveyed 1,000 Canadians. Most of them are just a memory now. Most of them died the way they wanted to without a headline, at their own hands. Most of them have chosen freedom, true God-given freedom to die, and did not live in the province with the highest rent in Canada. Doctors only receive a flat fee of $200 for performing the procedure. We all know that no doctor makes so little money as to have this be an incentive. Please note that all terminal, non-terminal illnesses eventually end in death anyway. So no, we have no problem sleeping at night. Please note that missed appointments have a no-show fee of $50. Thank you. Sorry, sir, I'm just going in order and I'm going to cut out the last one. Yeah. If you notice that I breathe very heavy right before the official start of the pandemic, I was touring, so the word Massy. I was in Ontario, I was here in Vancouver, I was in Victoria. I did like 10, 15 shows. And I really thought that was going to be the start of like becoming a touring poet, you know, but this was like this precipice. And I ended up contracting like a pneumonia that changed my life. It burrowed into my lungs and it forced me, when it was clear that this was not something that I would recover from, it forced me to think of the microphone differently. I still write lines that are longer than the breath capacity, which is so funny, like that your memory, that your body knows things that you intellectually don't. And it was also the first time that I wrote about this kind of disability. I'd been mentally ill for forever, but this was new, this was different. And it's actually why they read my bio, which is like I call it my pay me bio. It's for corporate people who pay me to talk about diversity, which pays my bills. You don't really need to know that part, but like we perform all of these acceptable labels all the time because, you know, like I can't work a 9 to 5. I do have to work in gig economies. Alice Wong, as we know, writes about this, that disabled people are more inclined and more likely to work gig work. And when your lungs don't take poems in the ways they used to. It changes the things you write about in permanent ways. And like, for me, going to graduate school literally made more money than being an artist for a year, which if any of you know about graduate school is like a really interesting bar that is very close to the floor. And yet that bar is also like it's been very interesting, you know. I haven't been able to do it without support. My partner Matthew is also a poet. He's in Edmonton right now. He's had to become like a physical caregiver for a lot of things, and having something that we think of as normal, as you know, diabetes being so common in Asian people and fat people. I wasn't prepared for how much it would change everything about what I love. So I'm grateful. I'm super grateful to be here. I'm grateful that we continue to make affordable and cool masks that I get to try. It makes me feel like a cyborg. I have a whole poem about that, but I'm not going to do it today. And I'm excited. I still have hope that we're going to get somewhere better, that things will change, even if I have to wear a mask forever, it's fine. I have very beautiful eyes, it's all good. In the aftermath of the poisoned lung, which did not heal and does not get better, who am I now that disease has turned my lungs to curled leaves and ash, cracked bark, the smell of bleeding brown into the black earth after a forest fire, struggling under the heat of the naked sun? If I had known that I would take my last full exhale before Christmas, I would have spent it saying your name. I would have laid on a bed like a tree falls on dirt and prayed to the universe to find my roots again. And it's been months since the doctor told me it would be all right. There are no pine cones here, no seeds of regrowth. The cracked breath breathes no fire. I do not rise. I am innumerable tunnels abandoned by the ants. The air is trapped in collapse. My lungs, oh, my lungs. How the bacteria made a feast in your wake. How I came to know you in farewell. I haven't held my breath since Halloween. I haven't screamed or panicked or run down the hill to the river since the x-rays came back clean. And some days I think I imagined it, the bed and its gravity, the way my words tasted like rocks when they left my mouth, the weeks where I weighed as much as a small moon, looked into the mirror and saw only craters. There are days I woke in the cold and knew that I would never get better, never sing off key or bloated again. I had to reacquaint myself with a microphone that bends like a serpent's coil around my throat. And some might call it a miracle to survive the fear of death as well as death itself. But no one wants to know how much I wanted to die and live in equal measure. How I imagined collapsing in Kensington Market, where only the tar, the dirty snow would embalm me. You have no idea. You have no idea how much of a person lives inside their body until their body tries to escape. Who am I now that my lungs speak the same language as the oil paints, which is to say, they know nothing of being transparent or breathable, nothing of cotton pajamas on a clothesline or wind in the sharp grass, nothing of a prairie storm chasing the bees. And some days I wake and I forget that I am not a childhood bedroom or a dresser, places filled with space to store my memories of the days where I could inhale an entire ocean without wanting to drown. Thank you.